scheduled for 9:35.
We out here. We out here. We on the internet.
Yeah. We on all the internets. Say we live, man.
Yes, we are.
Oh, shoot. Yeah.
Friday night. Peoples, what's happening? I am Jay Raphael, here with my guys, TEL-SCRILLA and D-Marl, and this is the Talk 100 podcast, Freestyle Night. Another Friday night, we here. Hope you got some money today. If you know me, you know I'm feeling all right. And make sure you tune in, stay plugged in. If you falling through for the first time, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, share it with your friends. That just allows us to do what we do, which is put the current events and trending topics on the chopping block. We give our perspectives and our opinions like everybody else, but we always make sure we keep it a buck. Check us out online, talk100.com, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Twitch at the number 1HUNNID. Thanks for being here on this Friday night, giving us your support. If you want to link up with us and be a part of the conversation, you can catch the live show on our website by clicking the live link in the navigation bar, or just drop a comment in the section below, and we'll try to work out your perspective into the discussion tonight. And like I said, this week we're going to be freestyling and just going through some of the stories that we came across this week. So keep it locked in for the next hour. And fellas, let's do what we do. Oh, yeah. What's happening, fellas? D-Marl.
What's going on?
What it is.
What's up?
Hey, y'all.
Not too much. What's going down?
It looked like you sent us some of that heat from down there in Texas. It's been hot all week up here.
Oh, man.
What y'all looking like?
It's been raining. It's been raining a lot for all this week, and I'm probably going to the middle of next week. And I think that's coming from, I can't remember which state that's coming from. So a little bit weird. It's gonna, but gonna start heating up pretty soon too.
Right, we usually have the rain. We just switched up. Skrilla, what's the word, man? What's going on out there? What you looking like this week? Skrilla.
Hey, man, just staying busy, man, doing my thing and trying to elevate and pull some people up with me, man.
I heard that. That's the best way to go about doing things. We really don't have much breaking news, much crisis, other than what's been going on. We still got the issues going on in Palestine with the Jews. I saw Biden on the radio, on TV today, talking a little bit about his support for Israel and the Jews and things like that. And so I guess we'll chop it up a little bit about that in the beginning here. Just a little bit. We'll jump back into it. Also, this COVID stuff, man. I saw some, I don't know if you saw this, Montel, but they had some demographics of like people who have taken the vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
It was a little confusing, but I don't know, man. Just looking at all this police stuff that's been happening, like, can we trust anything anymore, man? That's how I've been feeling. Like, what can we believe that's coming from the system and people who in control? So I know we're gonna kick it about that a little bit. Have y'all heard anything, D-Marl? You been feeling anything with this the second shot? You completed your vaccine last week, right?
Yeah, I completed it. There has been some symptoms. A couple of them, that it is just come and go. Kind of randomly. What I find for me actually, though, in the evening, stuff like that. So just having to just the whole use the bathroom thing and all that good stuff. Well, not good stuff, but like I said, it's not an all day and long drawn out thing. It's just kind of random. Mm-hmm. So, but that's really about it.
Have you been
flushing? You ain't got one of those Depends, do you?
No, thank God. No, man, oh man.
Oh, okay. You said just random. I don't know, man.
Yeah, well, I'm saying as in at least well with the general flu, you know how it is. Hey, I have you have all the symptoms going usually, and you just staying at home and you're doing everything. It can hit you, so no, that's what I mean by that. So no depends, but at the same time, yes, something it can hit somebody. Somebody can be out and about because everything can be just fine,
Mm.
and you at work or something, and then hey, you may need a little time to yourself. Hopefully, whatever it is you're doing or whoever you're around, they understand, or you able to take some break or something. Because yeah, you might need a hour to make sure you good to go.
Sound like
Not trying to
IBS.
get not trying to get too descriptive, but once you said that, but yeah, it's kind of like this. That's so yeah.
Hey,
Definitely
people
be
need to
glad
know,
we get
man.
all the way through.
People need to know.
So-
There's still a lot of people who not taking the vaccine, especially according to these demographics, especially in the black community. Most people are not taking it.
Now those demographics, is it mostly blacks or white?
No, it's mostly white, non-Hispanic people. It look like it's almost like close to 65. I guess it's a 60 million.
Yeah, like over 60. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, but don't that make sense when you look at this and you think about probability and just basic mathematics? Like this is how it should look when you look at every system that we have. The prison system, just everything, it should look just like this demographic profile. You should always see more white folks. It just makes sense.
Black people ain't going for it, bro. I don't care what celebrity and we ain't going for it for the most part. Now I know people, close to me, family members, friends that have been fully vaccinated.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I had even a guy, man, tell me, a religious cat tell me, he say, man, if you had faith in God, you would really get it. And I'm just thinking like, man, when did that change? Because I'm thinking if you got faith in God, you won't get it. But okay, I was like, well, but he said, to each his own, to each his own. I was like, yeah. I've had a couple people pressure me to get it, man, but I can't do it, bro.
Nah.
You can't do it right now. You can't do it right now. You're gonna wait a little bit longer, or what? Or how you gonna do it?
I have no reason to get it unless they force me. If they say, hey, you can't make no money or something, or whatever the case may be, I just don't have no reason to take it.
Mm-hmm.
That's just me.
Okay.
Because I don't.
You signed up
it's not
willingly, right, D-Mara?
Say it again.
Nobody forced you to take the vaccine, right?
Oh no! I went on. I already knew beforehand I would go ahead and take it. I had decided to at least. But yeah, so no. But yeah, some people, a lot of people decide not to. I was in the I stopped to get some gas. What was it? Just yesterday. And Hispanic young girl, she was about, what was she? Probably, if I had to guess, well, I am guessing, probably I would say late 20s. But the reason I started a conversation with, she was a cashier. They put up now on the doors, on the entryway. They're already out now. Remember, they released the CDC. Customers who's fully vaccinated, not required to wear a mask. If you haven't, you need to wear a mask. So that's what made me, right before I paid for my gas, I said, I got a question for you. How do y'all, what do they have a protocol for if I didn't have my mask on, which I do, according to that sign out there that says vaccination, how you guys checking to verify who has it and who doesn't have it? She's like, oh, I don't know. I'm just wearing mine because I'm just in case, because they told us, we don't necessarily have to wear them either if we COVID. I said, also, you guys don't have to wear them. I said, that's interesting. I said, so you got the vaccination, if you don't mind me asking? No, I didn't get it because I'm kind of scared. And I don't know, it's just too much information. I said, okay. I said, she said, it just seemed like somebody, I'm still I think they still need to get to the bottom of why they put the vaccine, why they put this whole thing out here, why they put the whole virus out, and why they not cure. She went into a whole different thing. She said, why they not curing cancer? How come they find the vaccination fast for this, and even if it don't work all the way, or whatever, they're putting energy into that, but not into the other things as far as that. I said, well, I
That's a whole
partially I
nother
get what you're
story.
saying. Right, but I get what you're saying, but there's a whole other stuff behind it on, from a financial standpoint, obviously on why routine drugs are still going to be the case with insurance and all that stuff. Okay, yeah, yeah, then I went back to, I said, but no, the reason I asked is because, I mean, I am fully vaccinated and I actually don't have my two cards that they gave me that's got the CDC on it and all that stuff and the location where it was administered.
Hmm.
I said, but even if, okay, I have mines at some point, just like people even do with licenses or do with anything, they'll start falsifying them and everything else. So that's what I'm saying. So when they put that up there, it's just a little weird to me on how's that getting regulated? How's that getting monitored?
Well, that's
So
the same thing I
that
was
was my
saying
whole thing.
last week. Is that's how they're going to. I mean, I just look at it as more space
Like
for
what's the plan for that?
discrimination, more space for them to start profiling people,
Yeah, yeah,
and
and they
just
haven't done
other
it yet.
things coming up. But anyway, Montel, I heard or I saw a story earlier about the COVID vaccine profits, and it's like 9 new billionaires, pharmacy billionaires. I know that's kind of like up your alley. Saw one about Moderna was like their shares was up like 700% since February of last year. So,
Everybody's going to invest. Well, some of the people won't invest. Okay.
so what you thinking, Skrilla? What that make you think about when you hear about that?
Oh, yeah, I knew it was from the jump. It was a money play. You just think about if you sell a product and you get the government to say everybody needs this or to buy enough for everybody in the country, all over the world, or at least all of the mainland countries. This is what happened. If you happen to own that product, you will make a lot of money. And do you think you would bribe a group of people to either shut up or to spread disinformation to accomplish that goal? Just an honest question. And I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm just saying that's where because you got to think. I've been out from day one. I haven't taken a day off. Been in the house. I was out when they announced COVID. I had no mask on, going to work, doing just every day, 7 days a week. I was out the crib
Yeah.
from day one, no mask. And there's even an interview where Fauci is laughing. He's doing an interview. He's saying, "What do you think we're going to have people wearing masks?" So the science, and then with the CDC putting this stuff out, at first they were trying to distance themselves from having to stand on their product and say, well, the FDA saying, well, we didn't approve it as far as the safety. We're just saying that it went through this process, right? And then they were trying to basically cover themselves and say, okay, you can't sue us if something does happen to you. So
Mm-hmm.
that's indicator number one. And then you had almost 30 states open up without even having to have the vaccine. So how does that look with you saying that your vaccine is supposed to help COVID-19 when the rest of the country is just opening up because they already know herd immunization has taken place and then they know the numbers will dwindle down. So
Yeah.
you have to. So they had, and then that with no medical backing, with no further investigation or any scientific proof, then the CDC comes out and say, "Oh well, Biden announces that you if you've been fully vaccinated, you're free to go." But just mind you, we were out here with no mask on for at least 2 months before
Right.
they made it a mandatory thing. And when money is involved, could you? I mean, because who pays the scientists? Who pays the doctors and yada yada? And you just for those that work in the medical profession, no offense, but I've worked in the medical, not as a doctor or anything, but just in the hospital and around medical facilities. I know those drug reps come in there and they buy those doctors lunches and da da da, and then guess what? That new drug is being pushed by that doctor.
So look, they report, if you just sit back and look at the numbers and look what they report, and you would say that, okay, the vaccines are working, it's slowing down, and there's a lot of people who believe that. So I saw another report, D-Mar, that it says like the rich countries basically, and this is like not verbatim, but the rich countries are slowing down the vaccines for the poorer countries. So it says that according to the WHO, 87% of the vaccine doses have gone to high or upper middle income countries. So do you think they slowing it down for like for example, Taiwan and other places who struggling? Do you think they've been slowing down the vaccines? Yes or no, or why not?
Well, slow it down as far as what, not giving it to them.
Yeah, they don't have access. They don't have the same access. Like we sitting on vaccines over here waiting on people to take them, and then there's other people in the world who could probably take advantage.
Well, here's the catch-22. Yeah, okay, now I understand clearly what you're asking. Well, here's the catch-22 to that. It has to be a timing thing before the government decides to help out the other. They're going to do it though. We already know that. Yeah, America's going to step in and help out. You know, because it always makes you look like it always makes you look like the big brother. It's always the image of everything else, whether it's money, you know, and we know that stuff happens. Money gets borrowed and stuff from other countries, the main top countries. But anyway, if that's done too soon, even though you got people right here on the U.S. soil that's refusing to do it, if it's done too soon, see, mouths are going to run either way it goes. We already see that. Like how us too, and all of us, everybody's got their opinion. We all talk about it. We all affected by it, and we all citizens here. And we get to talk about how all of this is getting regulated, and that's fair. But that what also is they're going to manage. The government is going to manage how and when on some of it okay, hey, when this decision gets rolled out, it'll do that. So to answer the question, could they go ahead, since you got a bunch of people refusing to do it right now? Yeah, go ahead and send it over to some of those other countries. I don't think they're refusing to do it from that. I believe it's a thing of it's going to be 10 million talking points. No, he didn't. Now he's sitting over there real early. They're going to go crazy on him. That's a fact.
Countries had the ability to pay for it, they would have them.
But that's not a question, Martel. You right. You ain't wrong.
We'll be back in a minute.
Yeah, this is your boy TEL-SCRILLA, and you are listening to Talk 100. Catch us every Friday night at 9 p.m. on Twitch. Just search NCG Media, and on YouTube, Talk 100, and Facebook, Talk 100.
So man, we're gonna jump on and move on. We can come back to that in a minute, but so the Ronald Green story. I saw Elena Wilson, which is his sister, on CNN today, giving some just some information to reporters there, and you know, this was a story of a guy who was killed by the cops, and or who was killed after he had a run-in with the cops. He died, and just a lot of stuff that I never knew about the story, which was the police lied in the beginning. They initially said that the guy was running from the police. He was, and you know, in his vehicle, and he hit a tree and hit his head, and he died, I guess, on the way to the hospital or whatever. But turns out that wasn't true, because Louisiana State Police released the body camera footage, and it showed a couple minutes of what happened in the beginning once they first approached the vehicle and they tased them and all of this type of stuff. But it's just another situation, man, and it's crazy that the George Floyd case just kind of blew up the way it did, and a lot of these other situations got pushed to the side. But there's just more litigation that's about to happen, more police under fire, the question of use of force, and all of that. So, Skrilla, do you think we're going to ever be able to trust these police?
No. I don't think you'll ever be able to trust anybody that rules over you as a people.
So what you with this particular case? Did you get a chance to look at the footage? Like, they did a lot to this,
you know, I ain't gonna look at the footage, but I listened to his mama explain to CNN how the police lied and covered up a murder that they committed and had that body shipped to a whole nother state to supposedly get an autopsy, and now the truth comes out. See, what people are starting to miss is that the truth is starting to be revealed. And when the truth is revealed, then accountability has to happen. We're not talking about man holding man accountable. We're talking about higher powers, when the truth gets revealed. When you lie for hundreds of years and you oppress people for hundreds of years, there is punishment and judgment to follow. And that is what that preacher should be preaching. But we don't hear that. But that is the truth, and it is scriptural, and it is biblical in any religious book you want to pick up. And the fact that we can have the government admit to UFOs being real, and that does not blow our socks off, but yet we are dealing with social injustice for people that have been oppressed for hundreds of years. There is a punishment to happen. If that scripture is true, where it says that vengeance is mine, saith the Lord, and black people have never defended themselves physically against this oppressor, so then the big news would be that there's a greater punishment coming, and we better find out if we're going to disassociate ourselves.
So the family is obviously they're going to, take and pursue whatever they could pursue further. The autopsy says that it was uncertain how he was injured. But speaking of when you just said like judgment, like one of the troopers, his name was Chris Hollingsworth. He was the one who came out and said, they caught him saying that I beat the ever-living fuck out of Green. This was his words. He ended up dying in a car crash. So he out of there.
And bust hell wide open.
Yeah, right. So D-Mar, do you think we'll ever get past this, man, and get treated fairly out here? What's your take on it?
Well, I believe that if they're not going to set in place a hierarchy and a third party entity within the law enforcement to basically monitor policing, because it's not just about, because you can send them back and say, look, we're going to retrain when you encounter the public and when you encounter this demographic, black people, whatever the case, whoever it may be. If you're not going to turn around, though, and make sure that's getting certain things will get implemented outside of you passing certain laws and certain restrictions, hey, you can't do this anymore, then it's not going to happen. And to be honest, what needs to happen immediately outside of them, having another entity that's over them and monitoring everything, certain things just need to be stripped out of their hands. And that's just what it is. In other words, you don't bring nobody in. The basic street patrol officers that are out on the street and doing, especially if you're performing routine traffic stops, doing all those different things, you don't bring no one in. If somebody has a warrant that says, hey, which warrants, I guess you automatically need to go to jail, they've got to actually reach out and somebody else has to come on scene.
Sound like
That's
a lot
what needs
of money.
to happen immediately.
Sound like a lot more money to implement into these departments. And what if they tell you, well, we gave y'all body cameras? What else do you want from
No. Body camera's not good enough. That's not good enough. That's why I'm even suggesting that even. And let it be that other person's they're accountable. And they already know. You're right, it's more money because it's another position, but not hundreds of positions. But no, the regular police officers, they're not getting a raise. I didn't say nothing about them. You stand with you better
we can't just look at
hope
the
you don't
people,
get decreased.
What I'm speaking to is a system. That's another system. And when you creating a whole nother system, then
Correct.
A lot of the law, the legal stuff got to be thought up, and it's just a lot of money that everybody would have to spend, especially when we have
correct.
The judicial branch of government, in every state, and federally it's supposed to be set up like the police is not a part of that. Their job is to interpret the law and lay down them sentences or whatnot with the judges. So that's kind of already in place. Skrilla, I'm gonna let you go get the last word on this before we move on. What you thinking?
Man, you cannot get a evil people to demonstrate justice and equality.
Not gonna happen.
Okay. Well, I guess we're gonna
Yeah.
leave it right there. Now, so did y'all get a chance to check out? I seen a little bit about this. The new CEO of Microsoft saying that, talking about Bill Gates and a alleged affair that he had back in 2000, and they're going public with it. I mean, I understand how corporations are set up or whatnot, but would you say that they don't like him for them to come out and be speaking to this publicly,
It's
or
getting a little dirty. It's getting a little dirty.
what you think about that? So the guy's name is Satya Nadella. So on Friday, he responded to some news about the conduct of Bill Gates from 2000. And what he was saying was basically that the company, Microsoft of 2021, is different from 2000. So it's a lot of things in place now, and business, the way they do business is just different. And I mean, of course it would be. But what you think? Is it something more to this, Skrilla?
Huh?
So let me bag that up real quick. So you saying that now, after all these years, they're coming out and saying that there was some sexual escapades, with this young lady with Bill Gates?
Yes. So he had an affair with some chick. I don't know who it was, but it was back in 2000. So apparently maybe it was swept under the rug or whatever. I don't know, but I never heard anything about it. But could this have something to do with the divorce of recent or what? I don't know. But it just seemed like it's a lot going on there that they just kind of keep in hush hush.
They do, man, and then cause that ain't the first time I heard about that. That's why I wanted to clarify what story you was talking about, because there was something else I came across this week, basically stating that basically dude was a playboy. In other words, which I did not see that in him, but I guess, you give a nerd, a couple $1 billion and you know what I'm saying?
What else he gonna do?
So at the end of the day, I mean, I'm pretty sure there was some discrepancies with him, saying, and some women, or whatever the case may be, or, whatever. But the fact that it's coming out now.
Too. She was a former employee of Microsoft too.
I'm like your boy Kwame Brown, when you talk about like the good old boy system, it seems like when this stuff start getting uncovered, it's not new news. It's whoever is protecting them is just taking their hand off of them and say, all right, he fair game now, so to speak. Because I mean, this couldn't have been no secret, because the way that I think it was a podcaster or somebody I was listening to, they was just basically saying like, oh yeah, everybody knew dude was woo 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 and doing this and that. I'm like, dang, I guess the rest of the world didn't know, but at the end of the day, I mean, it just seems like this is gonna be the par for course, man. When you on top, everybody love you, but when you kind of fade to black a little bit, then they say, okay, you fair game. I mean, that's what it seemed like to me.
What you think?
Everybody got a story to tell.
Right.
Yeah, well, he does. Well, he's showing up and he has a story to tell now. Yeah, I mean, and you decide to bring this up, and this was the problem for you. What he was doing back then. I mean, maybe I don't know if it was favoritism. Was he showing favoritism to certain women, and he didn't like that at that time?
He was
but he couldn't say nothing and do anything about it. Not to say that that's fair, but it does happen, and especially in corporate America. We're everywhere, but we know how crazy it can get in corporate America because it's just so in front of you. And so I just find it to be just very weird to just bring all that out now. Now here is Bill Gates, him and his wife. Well, what do? They make it in a nice solitary way. Hey, we're going to go ahead and go our separate ways. We're all living in the same house, but we're going to keep running our nonprofit organizations together, this, that, and the other. It's like, That's a cool cucumber way of, hey, media frenzy. Don't go crazy. I know I'm one of the richest person in the world, but it's not some scandal, not some. And here we go. It's never too far for somebody to be near that. Oh no, you think you're just gonna be smooth like that, baby? I'm gonna go. I got a gas like this. I've got a gas like this. Just you're not going away smooth like that, quiet in the dark. Uh-uh.
Yeah. Hey, you listening to the Talk 100 podcast on
Right.
the Talk 100 network. I'm Jay Raphael here with Montel, Skrilla, and D. Morrow, and we about to go on break. Back in a minute.
You are listening to Talk 100 with TEL-SCRILLA, D. and Jay Raphael. Tune in every Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
So, fellas, I saw a podcast earlier this week, and they were talking. They brought up an interesting topic, and I said I was gonna present it to y'all tonight in the social segment. So, this for both of y'all. So, if you was madly in love with a woman, right? Y'all was into it together or whatnot, and she asked you to marry her publicly in front of, got on her knees and asked you, what would you say? D. Morrow, you go first.
Well, first of all, that would be weird for me because I believe that's the man's job. But if we're already there, where we know we're getting ready to get to that point, would I be shocked that because we already talked about it, we already know we're at that point, obviously. That part wouldn't do it, but it just would be weird as in, let me do that. Let me be the one to, I'm just with things being in the, some things staying traditional and staying in the order of where, to me, it should go. So that's a little bit weird for me, So I don't know how I would.
So would you tell her
react
no?
to that?
Would you say no, or would you tell her to get up or whatever? Would you be embarrassed?
I'd be a little bit taken back, embarrassed, and then my answer would be, let's redo this another way. So I didn't say no to you, and I didn't do anything else, but you had no business doing it that way. Let's redo this another way. That's what I would say, and then go from there. Probably go have a shot or something, and then we'll redo this. But we're not doing it. We're not doing it this way though.
In front of everybody. So you would stay at the restaurant with her. You'll stay in this public environment, and y'all would finish y'all night right here. You think she'll be happy with that? You think she'll be cool with that after she done planned this out and thought it out? She gonna sit here with you and drink with you afterwards? I don't know. What you think, Skrilla?
Yeah, well, nah, yeah, y'all have to retire for the night. But no, man, I mean, shoot, I've had women basically pressure me to marry him, or you know what I'm saying, and bring it up. So I think it would be the same. I'm not.
So you think that's
I'm
the
not,
same for somebody always pressuring you, and then somebody, or versus somebody actually going through with it and doing it at the family function, a family dinner or something?
I think when a man know what he want and who he want, he ain't gonna waste no time. So I don't think it would really come to that, and that's why I put that in the same category as a woman pressuring a man to marry her. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, when a man want what he want, man, he want what he want, and he gonna get that. But as far as I mean, to me, how I've responded in the past, you shut me down, turn me away. I'm looking, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't think that works for me.
I'm the type that if you when you first meet somebody, it don't take a long time for you to figure out if that's somebody you could deal with, or if you want to elevate to another level with, But if you have already done that, like kind of start, growing with somebody, by then it's just certain things that y'all have talked about. I'll let her know, you better never ever pull a stunt like that, or else I'm gonna bust your bubble.
I think anybody that really know me know that a woman probably wouldn't do me like that.
Yeah, right. Heck no, sir.
Just that's why I say, man, how I've typically responded in that situation. If you pressure me and I ain't feeling you like that, or I ain't seeing that, then I'm saying I'm a move. That's not gonna happen to me. I know that wouldn't happen to me.
That's some of that role reversal stuff, that's going
I
on.
think that man gonna have on some skinny jeans.
Yeah.
How is the rest of that
Yeah.
relationship gonna go though? She proposed to him, he accepts, they get married. Like, how is that supposed to be? How could you even move forward with something like that? It just don't even make sense to me. But look, I was
You're not
watching.
even gonna pressure me to marry.
Yeah,
like
right.
If that you just gonna turn me off.
That's gonna make me
it's
not
a
like
no-go.
you. Exactly.
It's a no-go.
I might never say it to you either. It's just gonna, fade out. You know?
We just go, oh, what happened? We just fell apart.
I was busy. Hey, so look, I was watching CNN earlier, and they showed this commercial. I guess what's the guy's name in Texas? I think in Texas, where he went on vacation when everybody was tripping about these.
Ted Cruz.
Ted Cruz. Did
Ted
you see
Cruz.
it?
Senator Ted Cruz.
Yes.
No, I didn't see what.
So it was a commercial that he made some comments about the Democrats and their agenda, but he was referencing a commercial that he saw of, I guess it was a true, it's a woman. She is in the military. And so it was a military type of commercial, but it was an animation, and it was just her voice in the beginning. And it was her as a little girl talking about, how she grew up. She had 2 mothers, and she went on, all this great stuff. She graduated at the top of her class, and she enlisted into the military. And then she came at the end and, said a few things and whatnot. But that was pretty much the commercial. So Ted Cruz just came out bashing it, just talking about, he called them a bunch of pansies, and he posted a video of some Russian, military people working out and all this, all getting ready for battle. And then he made comments to us, passing daisies to one another, our military. And everybody went crazy. And CNN's their reporter lineup is pretty, supportive of all of the gay and lesbian stuff. So, it's kind of going around today. I just saw it today. So what you think about that, as far as him coming out saying something about this commercial or the agenda of the Democrats? Does he make a good point? Or, like, do you want to see your military like that? Like the things that he described, soft and nice, and
So they gonna be skipping down in the Middle East with missiles attached to their back with rainbow hair and
right.
Oh man!
But the video he posted was allegedly from some like white supremacist website. So, CNN was basically saying that, you could tell where he hangs out at, since this is the video that he posted and where it came from.
Hold on, bro. They just did 2 different things with that. I think he has a point. The military has always had its standards. If you want to join a group, I don't think it's right for you to change their standards. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think they have the ability to rule their house. You don't agree with it, that's fine, but it's no just God-given right there where you have to defend your country either in this situation if you know that you don't qualify. That's one thing in history that has always been the case. The military has always had its standards for whatever reason.
But they've changed too. Remember, it was no gays in the military at one point.
Yeah, they well, that ain't true. But I know what you mean. But at the end of the day, yeah, that's it's always been gays in
we're everywhere.
All war. I mean, matter of fact, some of the most violent people in history have been
asexual
gay people.
Or gay, right?
Yeah, short gay people have been the most violent people in history. That's a fact. And even to this day, I was like, I don't really hang out with too many short people. No, but that's true though, man. When you look, I was studying some of these people, like, dang, he'd be a little 5'2", mercenary.
Napoleon complex leaders.
Yeah, literally.
What you think, D? Is it so? You know Ted Cruz, so you said you didn't see that, but
Well, I just know. Well, I don't know. I was going to ask where he got it from, but you already asked it. Certain groups. I guess he's a part of that's pushing that whole thing.
I know you were not with the Trump rhetoric people, so. But do
oh,
you,
I don't know who he was. Yeah, I don't know who he was with, but no. I don't know that whole agenda thing. I mean, obviously we've been seeing that going on. Now it's been some years of it just being now. We already know what it is from these different groups and everything else. That's why all these sponsors and stuff are different depending on these shows, and that's why some of the shows they entertain certain things, and they making sure that matter of fact, they making sure they promote certain people or whatever their thoughts might be and all that stuff because they feel like, okay, hey, they attached to it. But so that's, in other words, what I'm saying is that's been going on. Now the angle of where Ted Cruz is saying it from, I guess it's just to link it back to what Joe Biden is doing, that he's in support of it or whatever the case. And so I guess that's his point. But yeah, this has been actually it's here to stay as far as in reality, period. On this whole agenda and how things are now. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And we definitely, we as in, the group that's, even if you have traditional thoughts on the male or female sexist, the traditional thoughts and things like that or whatever else, it's like, hey, that's not activated. So we know where this is at now. It's gotten to a very, very, very crazy place. It's just, man.
Yeah, man, and it's just overtaking a whole bunch of other issues. I believe is just a lot higher up on the system, on the list, of taking care of people, man. Like I don't see why so much, attention is given to this thing. Like it's not a big deal. That's how I look at it. Personally, I just don't give a damn. I don't ask nobody about what's going on in your bedroom or all that type of stuff. It's irrelevant to whatever we got going on, So I don't know. It's just a big difference. When I see you come through the door, I can see with my eyes, things about you. And I'm not even speaking to like your gayness or whatever. It's just that your race, the way you dress, whatever. So all this other stuff is just, it don't even need to be talked about. That's just how I look at it.
Yeah, and it's a thing too, though. But you don't want a situation where I'm not even talking about the gay stuff, but just even like women being on the front line and stuff like that. I think it changes the dynamics of how you fight a war. Even though I think we are getting away from the conventional way of fighting wars, which allegedly the biochemical attack of the country with this COVID-19 disguised as a virus, that those type of weapons could be the way that they fight wars anyway, and it may not even be an issue anyway of who's in the military. You know what I'm saying? If I could send a nano missile or whatever the case may be over here, and it releases a virus that'll take your whole country out, I ain't gotta shoot a missile no more.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So I don't know. They just be needing their little talking points. That's why I say it's just mainly just just jokes to me. But at the end of the day, man, I like Ted Cruz that he had the balls to say what he believed in this climate where people are scared to really say what they believe.
Scared to be canceled, baby. Everybody's scared. Everybody tiptoeing. Worried about getting shut off the internet. That's all it's about. It's not like they're going to lose their jobs or nothing. You're listening to the Talk 100 podcast on the Talk 100 network. Make sure y'all keep it locked in. We coming up with our entertainment and sports to close out this week's episode. I want to give a big old rest in peace to Paul Mooney, dead at age 79 this week. You know, we're gonna miss the contribution, you know, future contributions that Paul Mooney was capable of doing, but we still got everything that he ever was a part of, and you know, shout out to him, shout out to his family, all that good stuff, man. D-Mar, did you check that out this week? The Paul Mooney?
I seen that he passed away and everything. Yeah, he's done some good work. Comedian in the comedic world. He's a comedian. I mean, I think I don't know. I think a lot of that's a whole other thing. We talk about music and everything, but same thing with all the comedians, old school. They just cut from a different cloth. I think they sent a dual message within their comedy and everything, and in movies that they might have did too. Whereas now it's just a whole lot different. But yeah, definitely rest in peace to him for sure, man. He'll go down as one of the greats. I mean, he did some good stuff.
Oh yeah,
for
Paul
sure.
Changed the game, man.
Paul definitely did some good stuff.
No doubt. He wore the truth on his sleeve. He promoted that, and you know, kind of remind me of Dick Gregory later on in his life, just how he was and just how, you know, the impact that he had in this current culture, or if you want to say that, with black folks and just entertainment in general. Big old impact that he has, so no doubt. We'll be back in a minute, y'all.
Yeah, this is your boy TEL-SCRILLA, and you are listening to Talk 100. Catch us every Friday night at 9 p.m. on Twitch. Just search NCG Media, and on YouTube, Talk 100, and Facebook, Talk 100.
So y'all been sending me this Joe Budden stuff all week, man. And I guess what, Rory and Mal came out and did they snap back or whatever you want to call it of what happened. Did you Skrilla, did you get a chance to check any of that out?
Yeah, man, that was I mean, they got a chance to tell their side of the story.
Whose side you on? The workers or Joe Budden?
You know what? I ain't on neither one of their side, because here's the thing. You got two conflicting stories, and I ain't seen enough evidence on. I would have to see that contract to see who was in the right or who was in the wrong, because Joe made it seem like he was paying them as an employee, but then they were saying that their deal was not an employee relationship, but it was you know, a percentage partner. Now, maybe not so much in the whole thing, but you know, they were getting a percentage of what the show brought in. Maybe they didn't, you know, weren't owners, but you know, so if that's the case, seems like Rory and them was really mainly saying that the issues came up when they started asking for the books. Now, could they have seen something that Joe, you know, didn't share with them that really wasn't for them, since he owned the name itself? I don't know. That's why I say it would pretty much be. I'm not a big fan of Joe Budden. I mean, I've you know, I don't really like dude. I don't have nothing against him, but just what I've seen in the public, you know, I just haven't seen anything that I like about him, you know. So, and I don't watch that podcast like that. So, I mean, you know, to each his own. Wish him well. Did y'all hear about the Olivia Dope situation though?
Yeah, I saw that when you sent me the. I ended up watching it. Yeah, I ended up watching it. I ended up watching it.
Yeah.
But and I also seen like his podcast. I guess it was yesterday or the day before. D, when he kind of addressed a lot of all of this. I saw most of that one. So, what you think, D?
Well, as far as Rory and Mel, I was kind of waiting to hear some more information. And yeah, literally, other than us seeing the agreement, then it's hard to say. It's hard to say what it was. But what I can say is, if I had to lean more on what kind of makes more sense, at least from the perspective, is I got to look at those two guys when I'm hearing what they say. It sounded, because it just sounded very, very real and very normal to me, like some normal situation of people that get together. And then, yeah, these things again, which we had this conversation of how that happens and everything, just things weren't actually clear. But it sounds like with Rory, that's what he was trying to do. Like he said, hey, I'm trying to do all this and trying to make sure, hey, that way when this comes up, we good. But if we can't even have that as a starting point, which I agree with him, what do you get mad for? And to be honest with you, I actually went through that situation before this, actually. That's the whole point. Actually, when he said that, that hit home with me as far as, what do you get in the attitude? So now I got to question how you are. And especially when it's coming to me, I'm not doing or working for nobody on anything other than what I have to do initially now, secular wise. But anything outside of some secular work, which that's going to eventually change too, which we talked about, because it could be turned into an entrepreneurial thing as well within business, depending on what it is. And so, secular work wise, but anything else, especially when it got something to do with arts and this stuff, oh, no. There's no signing. No, that's over with. There's no signing no record deals. I'm not signing no contract with CNN, and there's no signing or anything. So any kind of thing like that, it absolutely is going to be exactly what they said. Some kind of partnership and some percentage-based thing on what the situation is. So when they saying that, I actually personally do believe them that that's what it was. I believe Joe's erratic. I also believe that he's had relationship problems, period, from what we saying, not personally, don't know him, but just what in the face of it, from people on radio to what he's shown himself. And not even gonna try to go there with the women thing. That's a whole nother thing. But just so the stuff that they're saying about it.
I watched the video of old girl. I seen the podcast clips, and and then I've also seen how Joe was after the fact. He don't really seem too worried about it. He definitely threw himself under the bus and kept saying over and over that he failed, and he apologized to her, he apologized to everybody else. He was basically just assuming that he won't be canceled. Like he didn't have I might get canceled behind this type of attitude. It was like, all right, I'm going to address this, and we're going to move on. I got my two guys right here, so the show keeps going, and he just really didn't seem too fazed by it to me. But I really, looking at the clip of the podcast, I didn't see it, none of the stuff that she was saying.
Mm-hmm.
Like one particular part where she spoke on, they took it out. They took something. I guess he said he wanted to do something to her, and they took it out. She said when it comes back on, you'll see that my face is all surprised and everybody else is all surprised. But I didn't really see that. I mean, I could be wrong, but to me, it just didn't. Like if somebody said something that offended you the way you say you was offended, and your face, you had this reaction, she really didn't look like, she was appalled at all. And what she referred to and told us to check out, you know what I mean? So I don't know, maybe that has some reason to do with him feeling confident and moving forward and keeping the show going. Because why
would they edit it out though? If it wasn't nothing wrong with what he said, why would they edit it out?
But past that though, she said that when it comes back, they edited it out. But when it comes back on, you'll see my reaction. I didn't really see a reaction.
I watched that clip, and the whole show seemed awkward, and they were trying to laugh through the awkwardness of this lane spewing out. Okay, we can question. I agree with you. You can question whether that is a improper.
We just talking legally. That's all. I'm just looking at.
Yeah,
legal
we can
stuff.
question that. But at the end of the day, it was no getting around that awkwardness that whole show.
Yeah,
it was very awkward. And then she even said at the end, her exact words were, "I feel uncomfortable."
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not gonna lie, when I heard
called her
the
a
reports,
bitch. He told her hit the sound, bitch.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
said,
yeah. But he
"Dang."
was trying to, so they went on. The other two chicks, they down with it, so they kind of like trying to like, coach her through it.
He must have been
And
high or something, because somebody who talked like the way he talked, how could he ever allow the camera to hear him say something like that? Just
I
all
mean,
out
when
of
you
pocket
feeling
like
yourself, bro, when you feeling yourself, you know what I'm saying, and you lame, and and you got this celebrity status, and you know what I'm saying, because that was a lame move for, from the jump, in my opinion, because clearly she wasn't feeling it. You know what I'm saying? And he said what he said. He said the ultimate, I want to F you.
that.
You know what I'm saying? So now it ain't no more, it ain't nothing in between that. It's either yes or no. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't see him gyrating his hips.
I
I
didn't
couldn't
see
see
that part either. You
that
know what
looked
I'm
like an
saying?
innocent hug to me.
And I'm not saying that, but at the end of the day, that
That
just
hug did it for her.
well, it wasn't even that. I think it was just an awkward thing. And it just
And
seemed
she
like
did it
they were
too.
trying to patch it up.
She
And,
hugged
and
him
I think
back.
she was trying to, like,
Oh, she
man,
did?
She stood
yeah,
up
she
from her
hugged him.
seat and hugged him. If you was feeling all like that, there's no way you would have did that.
No,
No
because
way
she
you do
couldn't have
that
been
that kind of
pressured
hug.
to.
Okay.
Well, not necessarily that. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know,
That's
man.
his little so-called. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That
okay.
was his sorry, and
Mm.
let's make up. And so
Mm-hmm.
she was a trooper about it, but at the end of the day, she could have just felt peer pressure through the whole thing, because the other two chicks, they laughing through it and trying to like make it seem less awkward. You know what I'm saying? Which he was just a goofball that day. I mean, really, every time I've seen him, he's been a goofball. But I mean, you know what I'm saying? Hey, more success to him. I think them people with him, so he ain't worried. He ain't worried
Right,
about
and see,
it.
that's
Them
what I was
people
thinking
with him.
about it. And see, talking about Kwame Brown, like some of the stuff that Kwame was saying, it kind of make you think of that too. They only put certain, black people, in front of you because they follow a certain type of agenda, And I know we haven't talked about Kwame yet, but that's what he was saying. Now, Montel, you said you basically watched that whole thing with Kwame Brown. All of the I don't know, did you watch all of that too, D-Mara? All of the his podcast, I guess, is it a podcast, Skrilla?
He just basically, he had a YouTube page and he just been going live. Basically, they stirred up the hornet's nest, and I guess Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson and them other cats, they was on some podcast or their podcast, Up in Smoke, I think is the name of it.
All the smoke.
Yeah, All the Smoke or whatever. It's Up in Smoke now, but it was All the Smoke. And
All the smoke. Well, I don't know if it's up in smoke.
Why it's Up in Smoke, man?
They changed the name?
I mean,
What were you mean?
no,
You said
I'm
figuratively
just
speaking.
saying,
Right,
it's
right.
Up in Smoke, figuratively.
Yeah, right.
I mean, basically, they stirred up the hornet's nest. He wasn't bothering them, and they tried to make him the butt of a joke, and it backfired on him. In other words, they were bullying dude. He was minding his business on his tractor, as he say, and they put his name in it, tried to make it seem like he was a bust, and like I'm in the in crowd now, so it's cool to laugh at Kwame because he's him, he's he was a bust, his whole career was a bust, and yada yada yada.
While they plugged in from their position, from their high horse, plugged in.
Allegedly high horse.
Right. Let me ask you this, because I went back and I was trying to really check out, because I heard what he said, so I want to go back and hear. And so I'm like, because what he said. Now Gilbert Arenas, I don't know. I guess he might have said a little bit more and said it just as his teammate or whatever. But when Jeannie Buss was on the show, according to Steven Jackson, and they're like, wait a minute, you got mad because and Matt Barnes, you got mad because I tapped what's called his knee on the whole thing of. Well, that wasn't a trade. I guess Steven Jackson said it. That wasn't a trade for two people. That was one. Meaning that, okay, he was a bad. I guess that was the joke. But I was trying to figure out what else was it. But even though that
was
still
it,
was
like basically, and then
But he's saying he just tired. Period. It's over. It's a 20-year thing of people period. And that's what Matt Barnes and them excuse, which that's not an excuse of, hey, we've been having these people been getting picked on. That's like the fourth grade and this person in the class. Well, didn't all the other 29 people in the class? Well, yeah, that don't make it right. That so the whole school's supposed to be doing it.
Well, I mean, whatever, however it started.
So that's that's their excuses, which I don't agree with that part.
Well, their excuse is, their excuse is just they don't know. They were just being lame and cackling and like some little schoolyard girls, and it backfired on. And and then on the other end, Kwame pointed out, like, y'all on TV and y'all ain't got nothing better else to talk about. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, he has some valid.
He said they keep bringing his name up. He was cool at first, but they keep on bringing his name up. And then I'm sure that what they saying do kind of slice into him a little bit. But he just wanted to put the facts on the table. So he started up by saying that I'm gonna tell y'all gonna learn something today. I'm gonna tell y'all some stuff that y'all don't know about. And he went down the line. He was dropping him and Gilbert Arenas. It was mainly about Gilbert Arenas. Because they got the history that they have, and Gilbert was hating on him a little bit. I think over in Washington. About Jordan. Yeah, exactly.
He said MJ treated him like. Now that's a whole nother dynamic that people didn't know about. Now Shannon came in and bagged that up on, not bagged up that it happened, but just in general that, hey, maybe MJ, who has had struggles as an owner and as a general manager, he actually has. So, maybe he is all over, man. And who knows? Sometimes people that way, even with their kids, just too harsh, too, what I'm saying? You know how that goes. So he was saying that was even the case with him. So he's got his little history of how stuff was done when he came into the league at that young age. I get it. I understand that.
What's his beef with Stephen A. Smith?
Because
I don't know. He was going for Eric. He said something about Charlamagne, bro.
What did he say about Stephen A?
No. Let me back y'all up. He got on Stephen A. Smith, and he ain't the only one. You know what I'm saying? Who's another clown in the media? He got on Stephen A. Smith because Stephen A. Smith was, according to Kwame, was sent to colleges to basically talk about how you do not want to be like Kwame Brown, and you want to go to school and you want to do your 4 years and yada, yada, yada. So it is Kwame's belief that there's a group of people that put him up to that as self-serving, but then he had a problem with Stephen A. Smith because he said he had never talked to Kwame. And so his whole argument is, how can you be a bust when you've made millions of dollars and you took care of your family and you did what you were supposed to do?
He said this is a fraternity, man. This is the NBA. Why is we going against each other like this? That make a lot of sense. He said everybody else is not a part of this fraternity. So it would make sense for other people to talk about it like that. But if you are then connected to it, then you look like a fool, If you made it to the league, you won, period. You able to, like you say, buy your, take care of your life. You got a business started. You taking care of people, Dude, I mean, I get where you're coming from.
I personally, until it actually, believe it or not, for me, it's just certain people that slip through the cracks for me that I don't even end up knowing who they actually are. As much as I do love sports, whatever, sometimes some people slip through the cracks. Honestly, I didn't even know who he was. I had to go look up, and I was like, oh, he's on the Lakers and everything else. And then when I put everything together, I was like, okay, well, hey, at least he did have a 12-year career. I mean, NFL careers are way shorter. He was
a first-round draft pick, man.
Yeah.
I mean, he was the first pick. Yeah.
Right. Now, here's the thing. Now, here's the thing. Here's what won't happen to Lonzo Ball. And this is the good side of his father. That won't happen. Because guess what? Is Lonzo Ball, and this is my opinion, is Lonzo Ball living up to the aspects of that? No, first of all, his baby brother is doing a lot better on adjusting and coming into the league. But Lonzo's not a scrub either. But does he live up to the expectation of that? But here's the thing. Will Lonzo be the butt of everybody, butt of a joke for that? No, he won't. Because of the way it's set up. Number one, his father helped do the brand. He did all that stuff. So that ain't going to happen to him. But that doesn't mean that he lived up to expectation either. See, it is what it is, and that's what Steven Jackson brought to the thing. He said, I tell you what, we can leave it as, you was a scrub by what? I ain't proud of his stuff. You brought up that bring strip club. I sure did. Also, Steven Jackson, you was part of that Malice in the Palace thing. But he admit all that stuff that he did. but he is right on. If you keep it on, okay, let's just analyze basketball, which that is kind of where if it goes to that and you stay on that, even if feelings get hurt, that's a little unfortunate, but that is what it is. If somebody gonna bring up the part of the basketball and analyze it, that is what it is. Outside of now, if you put all the charades on it just for clickbait, which what Skip and them, and a lot of them do, Stephen A. a lot of them do to help with ratings, that's different. But just strictly the technical numbers and how everything looked, what did you do, and all of that stuff, that's a fact. So by the standards of that, yes, he was in the league. Good for him. He made about $60 million, which is a lot of money over 12 years. But was he, based off them coming and grabbing him out of a first round, to that expectation? No. Patrick Mahomes, that's living up and exceed expectation.
But can you make the argument to say?
No, he's not.
But can you
and
make
that's just
the
from an analyst. I'm not dogging him. I'm just saying that's to the standard of looking at those aspects. I'm leaving everything else alone. I ain't got nothing to do with it. I ain't bringing up all the other stuff, like how his brother went to jail for beating on a woman, all the other stuff that I found out.
All right, let's respond. Would you say?
But what I'm saying is, I mean, it's clear to say that it's cool to talk about some people if they're not in the fraternity, quote unquote, and then it's uncool, and you cannot talk about certain people a certain way. So what I am saying is, if this man played 12 years in the NBA, and there's people that went to college for 4 years and didn't last that long or have a good enough career, what is the argument? You know what I'm saying? Okay, some dudes is your 12-point, 10 rebound type of cats. Everybody's not going to be a Kobe and was Larry Johnson a bust?
Right.
Some people would say Chris Webber was a bust.
And some people, and
you know what I'm saying? We can go on and on.
See, Webb just made it to the Hall of Fame, right? This year, right?
Yeah, he just did, and I was a little shaky on him doing it because again, he did not have an over illustrious career. No, he didn't. Now again, did they consider him a bust? No, but compared to all them guys in 5'5" from Jalen Rose too. Let's throw him in there. He wasn't the unfortunate championship team, but hey, Jalen Rose, you and him and Chris Webber. Y'all were playing at the wrong time, baby. You playing when MJ was there, then Kobe on the scene. You ain't getting no championship. That's not to bail them out, but that's just what it is.
Kwame came on the scene though around that time, a little after them, but it was like 3 years. You know what I'm saying? Like he played with the Titans. This ain't, that old. I'm just saying, bro. You could say the whole Fab Five was a bust.
If you want to
you can go down the line.
You can go down the line. And,
you know what I'm saying?
Now, no matter what, we'll have a special place for them. And they made their history mark on a college level and what they did, especially on all the stuff from everything. So that's all good. And it always be cool. You know what I'm saying? And
all that hoopla that they created, they were not a championship team, and some unpopular.
They was a champ. Come on, man. They were a championship team. Come on. They didn't win, but they was definitely a championship team.
But when you look at the black and white on the paper, for people that didn't live in our era, when you look at that, it's going to say they lost, and it's going to say that Duke was a championship team. And if you was to take just that stat, you would think that Grant Hill was the best thing since sliced bread. I mean, some people could say Grant Hill was a bust, which I don't agree with all of what I'm saying. But I am saying that it's just the nature of the game.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
No, you're right. And it's a bunch of narratives. What you point out is how it could be a narrative on each side of the stories of those different people. That's true. That's true.
And then too, Gilbert Arenas. Besides Gilbert Arenas,
him with his stupidity. Oh my God.
That's part of what it. But I'm just saying, even Matt Barnes was a role player. Steven Jackson was a role player. Was he a bust?
Right.
They act like they were like superstars or something. Like I didn't even know that dude until after he started playing. Like literally, like I didn't know who Matt Barnes was. I don't watch sports like that either. He was strictly
a role player.
A role player, bro.
He was out there. Put him out there to bother people and stuff like that, and be a pest and be involved and stuff like that. Help get some rebounds. Do some dirty work, whatever. And then come back on the bench. You paid your 13 minutes or whatever the case may be. But I did not know
ain't Michael
Kwame.
Jordan laughing at Kwame.
I did not know Kwame at all. And that's not me. I'm like, wait a minute, how did I not remember him? because even the ones who quote unquote are a bust, you kind of remember some of them that, okay, they did okay the first 2 years, and maybe they faded away. And the reason I brought up the Lonzo thing, because thanks to his doggone father, if nothing else, 20 years from now, the kids remember, oh yeah, I remember hearing about my man. Yeah, that's my man's dad, who's such and such, and his brother, he did all right stuff. And then the third one, it's so much of that dynamic that his father made sure he do it. So that won't happen. Now, once you break it down and stuff, you'll start saying, well, hey, when he was over there at the Pelicans, was he able to win? Was he able to? I mean, if you start doing that in conversation, but yeah, I never knew about that requirement. But yeah, it's an unfortunate situation.
Man, I used to watch sports back in that day.
He messed himself up though, man. Like he.
But I was trying to figure out what he did.
How you gonna break your hand fighting, doing something? Every time he was injured, it seemed like it was off the court.
Well, that's what he did explain that. But listen to this though. Kobe was a scrub, not necessarily a scrub, but if you watched his play in his early first 2 years, you would see Phil Jackson get mad at him, pull him out the game. Now, what if he did not have the support that he ended up getting? Does Kobe become Kobe?
Well, I think he willed himself to be that. But yeah, I get what your point is. You need the foster.
Because what Kwame is saying is that he did not have the proper support because they didn't want him. They wanted Elton Brand.
Right.
And then you know how Jordan is. Jordan is not a coach. You
know
what I'm saying?
No,
he is
Jordan
not a coach.
No, he is not.
He's a great
Jordan
player, but he is not a coach.
This is the best Jordan did, because you like Jay say all the time, Jay Russ all the time about this. This is the first time he really got it right, because I definitely love me some LaMelo, because I think that was a good play. I think he gonna really continue to develop and be a good thing. That's one of the latest of very few things that Jordan has done as far as being on this business side of the basketball. Even going, and so like you said, I can imagine when Kwame said that about Jordan, I can imagine that. I'm just gonna be honest. I can imagine him screaming on this, that, and the other. Matter of fact, hey, check this out, Skrilla. The house that LaMelo has, which he got a nice house, seen that on there on the YouTube. They said that he's right down the street from Jordan, so he even doing a little bit of that too. Kind of got his eyes on him. He wanted him to live down the street. Now, I don't know how true that is, that if that's what the reason it is, but he do live quote unquote down the street with him. So Jordan is a little tired. Now I'm gonna keep you happy, but what he don't understand, hey, his father got him. He's motivated, and he already in a certain way of how he is with his father. Now you the GOAT, MJ, but as far as how that is, but again, these are the ways. This is how he is. So when Kwame did say that, when I heard that part of all the other different arguments he said about MJ, I said, oh yeah, that's right up MJ. That personality wise, I can imagine that he was doing that.
Oh yeah.
Treat him.
Hey, we're gonna have to leave it there, man. We're a little bit over the time, but we're gonna pop into the Twitch for a few minutes to answer this question. But you listening to the Talk 100 podcast on the Talk 100 network. I'm Jay Raphael here with TEL-SCRILLA and D Marl, and this is what we do. Every Friday night, pop in, holler at us, get involved with the conversation. We just keep in current, trends and things like that, topics in circulation, good conversations, you know what I mean? So stick with us. We'll be back on here at the same time next week. We was a little bit late today with technical difficulties, so apologies to anybody who might have been waiting at 9 p.m. And before we get out of here, I'm going to have to give a shout out to our sponsors and biggest supporters, New Leaf Home Solutions in Waterford, Michigan, a premier real estate investment company which can help you make your dream home a reality. Also serving the Metro Detroit area, Herbal Rotation LLC, a company which helps to draw awareness to safe and responsible herbal healing, and also helping to diminish the harmful effects of opioid abuse in society. And I know y'all been checking out the play-in tournament. If you like that kind of stuff, or the live play-by-play sports action, make sure you holler at D Marl with the Real Sports Time with D Marl podcast on YouTube, also on Instagram. And what is it, D Marl?
So it's R Sports. So you could just go right to R Sports on Instagram and on Facebook and Twitter also, with updates on news and all that good stuff, sports related stories, like a little bit of the stuff like we just was chopping it up about. So
No doubt, no doubt. Now I'm gonna put the after show running topic. I know y'all probably gotta go, but we just gonna throw this out here. So is it fair to use past events and behaviors to determine if somebody is being genuine today? Why or why not? Or how far do you take it? So we're gonna throw that out there. And I also want to chop it up with you, D. Marl, about this tournament that's going on and what you think about what went down this week. So pop on over to the Twitch channel with NCG Media on Twitch. We'll be on there for a few minutes, just kicking it on the after show. So grab you a drink or something, and we'll holler at y'all. Peace.